Hello everyone. Welcome to our quick demonstration of COVID-19 dashboard that we have developed at our Machine Intelligence and Resilience Lab at Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar. This dashboard has been designed keeping policymakers and stakeholders in mind who are at front line of managing the disease and controlling its spread trajectory, and are also interested to understand how future implications of lockdown or relaxations in lockdown would would would, im- would impact the disease spread trajectory at the city scale. So the three salient features of our model are: first of all, it accounts for the complex interactions that happen at the city scale within and across the communities and try to encapsulate into sophisticated mathematical models and give us the spread trajectories under various policy scenarios. And these policy scenarios would include relaxed lockdown after a certain period of time, relaxed lockdown followed by a strict lockdown for extended period of time, no lockdown with enhanced testing, reduced testing with enhanced lockdown and such. And I will give a quick walkthrough that how you can look into the impact of various trajectories, various scenarios on the spread trajectories. Second feature that this particular model has is that we have been able to model the congestion routes. For example, whenever a red zone is introduced in a city, that would mean that complete area is quarantined and isolated and no traffic flow is allowed from that part of the city. If that happens, there would be congestion on other parts of the road, and that could result in law and order situation in many cases. And hence our network science tool, which is backed by a United States patent, gives us the most critical intersections and road segments where we can estimate how many people would be traveling if we have a certain setup in which part of the city is locked down. And finally, we also give the ward level risk analysis, because today we may see low trajectories in certain parts of the city, but these wards or areas may be at heightened risk given the various socio-economic indicators such as density, or how crowded that particular place is, or what is the socio-economic condition of the people, making them highly vulnerable to the spread of COVID-19. And in addition to these policy relevant features, we have also included information for general public where they can select the various districts and see the trajectories and number of cases in each city in real time, and also see the trajectories of spread. So let us go to the epidemic model and try to see that what it does. So let us, in our epidemic model, what we have included, we have already pre-run some scenarios. That is, for example, what would happen to the trajectory of detected cases if we have strict distancing even after May 15th and we continue with the current testing rate. So if you see this observation, these are the observed data that we get from Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation website. Blue one is our predictions, and you see that there is a fair closeness between our predictions and the rate at which model is predicting the detections under current setup. However, if we change some social distancing norms, that is, let us say that we have a loose lockdown and continue with current testing, let us see that how trajectory is happening. So this is the observed period, and you see that if we open the lockdown after May 15, you would see an exponential rise in number of cases. One thing to note here is that all this model is calibrated on real data that we get from various sources, and it is backed by certain mathematical calculations. And of course, as more and more data is available, we will keep on updating our models, but the insights that we get would hold true, because all these equations account for the clinical characteristics of the COVID-19. Also, if you look at the detected cases and undetected infections, because testing will only give us information about how many people are infected and tested positive, but in a given population, if we see trajectories like that, we may have a large population that may remain undetected. And if you see that if we have continued testing at current rate with essentials allowed, this is what would be the rate of detection, and this would be the rate of actual infection, which will keep on propagating the spread of the disease. And that's why staying at home may be a good idea even if we have enhanced testing or even if we have a reduced test. testing or testing at the current form, because ultimately we want to flatten the curve of both detected as well as infected persons. One thing you may note here is that in all the scenarios, the correlation or relationship between number of persons detected and number of persons who have been tested positive is highly positive. So if we are able to flatten one of these curves, we are implicitly bringing down the level of the another curve. Now we have included around 8 scenarios here, but if you are a stakeholder working on frontline and you want to submit a special request form to run some specific scenarios and simulate the impact of various policies, we have designed a scenario request form which you can just fill in and send it to us with your email ID, name of your current organization, what scenario you want to run, for how many days you want the forecast, and any other customized information you want specifically for the city of Ahmedabad or any other scenario you want to run. We would be happy to do it for you on voluntary basis. Now coming to our second feature of the dashboard. So as I was mentioning, we have modeled all these intersections and identified where we would have high congestion. So for example, we closed the part of the city of Navrangpura and rerouted our traffic, and you see that if you see a red zone, that means that could be a congestion zone. And similarly, you can increase or decrease the density of this particular network if you are interested to identify top 15% or top 20% of the intersections for better management and more granular, more fine-scaled information about the city. If you click on the ward, you see that this particular ward is Gota, which currently have some 18 patients and social risk is very low. So this patient data we update every second day, but all the data sets on this site, they are updated dynamically or in the real time as the information is made available. However, getting fine information at ward level may take some time, and that's why you may see some delays in number of patients versus the number here. However, these social risk indicators, they have been derived from the census data, and they can be used for future planning by the various stakeholders.